What's up, hobby friends? My name is Casey and welcome to another miniature rescue. This week, I'm going to tackle a fantastic Terminator model for Warhammer 40,000. Almost 2 years ago, I received a handful of Terminator models from the Space Marine Heroes set of minis. The models are fantastic, and the updated Terminator sculpts were the best that GW had put out until 10th edition 40k came out a little bit later. The size of the models is actually not too bad either, much bigger than the older versions and pretty close to the new ones, so they're definitely worth getting if you can find them for a good price. That the mini you get in the box is random isn't great for the price. There tend to be duplicates everywhere, and including in my own collection of these models. I cleaned, fixed, and painted a set of them, but I left out the duplicates in my bits drawer. The squad I ended up with is still great, and I do like the way that these Dark Angels look. Today though, I'm going to go back to one of those duplicates and paint it up in a completely different way. I've been working on a large army on a project that I can't really talk about right now, but I used this model as a test model for some colors that I was using. The plan was to just see what it looked like and be done with it, back in the drawer to be stripped another day. The thing is though, it looked kinda good, and I really want to finish it up and see what it looks like when I give it the rest of the details. To catch you up though, here's how I fixed the model and got it ready for paint, as well as how I ended up with this camo pattern. I started with a base coat of dark blue. I didn't even use primer because that wasn't the point of painting this model at the time, and we can worry about that later though. Once the blue was down and dry, I covered about 50% of the model with globs and strands of silly putty. Silly putty acts as a mask and sticks to the model just enough to not let paint get under it while not being too stuck that it pulls up paint when you take it off. If you don't have any, then I highly suggest you pick some up. It's not exactly expensive, and it's such a great tool to have on your hobby desk, whether you airbrush or not. With the mask in place, I used a brighter blue on the entire model. This covers up all of the dark blue we just painted, but when we take off the putty, it has a really cool pattern. Taking that a step further, and pushing this into Space Wolf territory, I masked off even more of the model, trying to cover areas where the two colors met, making lines that ran through most of the model, and I painted the whole thing a Space Wolf gray. To finish it, and before I pulled the silly putty off, I put a lighter gray into the mix and used that to modulate the gray that was on the model, putting little gradients in each exposed section where the brightest gray was towards the top of the model. Removing the silly putty, you can see how just a few variations in color really make this a unique looking model. Granted, I did this with an airbrush, but if you're patient enough, you can make this work with a regular paintbrush. You just have to be careful not to overload the model with paint so it doesn't run under the silly putty, so thicker paint than normal. After finishing this, I was pretty surprised, and I knew that I needed to finish this model. It just looked really cool.
You solved it. This is the pattern. These are the colors. Yes, that's whatever you just used.
I'll use a varnish over the top to give this a little more protection since there wasn't any primer, and hopefully that will keep the paint on for much longer. Honestly, though, this process only took about 15 minutes, and that's not too bad when you're batching out a bunch of models that look as cool as this. Okay, so the major base coat is taken care of. Let's get started on some of the smaller details, and then we can refine them and eventually get to the base. I'll prep my wet palette and start by filling in all of the accessories and extras with a little dark silver metallic. Since this is supposed to be some kind of camouflage, everything's going to need to be pretty dark, so this should be just right for most of those details. You can always lighten them up later on with highlights. The Aquila gets this as well to just even out the color and keep it darker for the gold I want to use later. Take care of the purity seals with some khaki to start with. While the lighter colored thin layers are drying, I'll hit the eyes with some dark red, get some bright red in the middle, and finish them off with a couple of dots of yellow. These eyes are pretty big, so it's not too bad adding extra details, you just gotta keep the brush sharp. Between another coat of khaki, I'll go back and catch some of the metallic parts that I either missed or that need to be touched up. It's always a back and forth process, and one where you want to block everything out and then refine each piece. It helps break up the model that way, and it helps keep the momentum for the project going. I wanted to find some of the armor panels. It looks cool with all the camo, but I suppose that's the point. The lines get a little bit lost. Well, I'll use an off-white to hit some of the edges to define some of the shapes. The line will also serve a purpose later on for some chipping effects like I did on my other Terminators. I kind of like the idea that I can make a squad of these guys where they're all from different factions or different places or whatever. That just sounds like a cool hobby goal. I ended up going pretty neutral with the cloth color. Brown to keep things dark and still look like a Space Wolf. There are lots of brown pelts and cloth on those models, so this will fit right in. I was thinking of going red, but probably would have been too bright for the whole camo look, kind of defeats the purpose. I'm bringing in some gold for the Aquila and some of the metal details on the armor, breaking up the silver and bringing some warmth to the cold armor. This is more standard for Space Wolves, and I've always liked the way that it looks because of that warm-cold contrast. The gold really helps sell the model where it technically could have been pretty much any other gray-blue Space Marine before. For the chipping I was talking about, I grab a piece of sponge. I like to use tweezers to hold a little piece with a jagged corner sticking out and stab the model with the sponge after I've dipped it into some paint. Try not to have too much on the sponge and just test it on your palette or your hand first. When the pattern looks good, just start going for it. In this case, I'm going for the edges I hit with the off-white. The white will give the brown chips a little bit of depth, and I can go in after and use the same off-white to just put a little dot or line below some of those chips to better help sell that effect. The bases for the Space Marine hero sets are pre-sculpted, which is pretty nice most of the time. I think these are minimal enough and look pretty nice. Sometimes the pre-sculpted bases can be overly complicated and detract from the model, in my opinion anyway. There are tons of different kinds, but I like these ones for the most part. The plan will be to cover this in snow like my other Space Wolves, so I want to paint the metal grates and stone pillar, and that's about it. The grate will get a coat of dark silver, followed by a wash of orange-brown. The stone will get a brown base coat, followed by layers of off-white mixed in. Then I'll wash some of that with the dark brown and orange for weathering. After it dries, I'll touch up the metal with an overbrush of silver and the stone with some ivory. Then I can come in with glue to set up for the snow. I spread some glue around in between the details and sprinkled on the snow. It's basically short static grass, so it kind of stands up and looks like fluffy snow. Isn't not too bad actually. I've been looking a lot at Space Marines this year, and some of it was kind of bad and some of it was kind of good. But for me, there's just something about the color and the vibe of Space Wolves that just feels right. There's a bit more on the unique side, and there are specialty units that fit very well into the theme of the army, which isn't something you get from pretty much any other Space Marine faction. This model was an absolute fluke, a happy accident. I was using it as a test model for some cloaks I was painting, and it turned out so good that I knew I was going to have to finish it. It's a pretty great feeling when you stumble onto something while you're painting and it just stops progress on a project and makes you want to keep painting that thing. Try and hold on to those moments when you get to them, ride the hobby wave, so to speak, and finish something that inspires you to sit down and paint. It's a lot of fun. Thank you again for joining me on another miniature rescue. If you enjoyed something about this video, please feel free to hit that like button, share this video with your hobby friends, and subscribe for more miniature rescues. Once again, I'm Casey, and I will see you in the next video. And of course, here is the completed Space Wolf Terminator. Thanks again for watching.